Oh. Hello, everyone. I am Catherine Yarbrough, and I'm the global facilitator for the On Purpose Woman Global Community and the creator of the Manifesting Clients Academy. And today I have the pleasure of sharing the speaker piece of the Connections Over Coffee gathering this morning and introducing our wonderful speaker, Karen Tasto. And I think that's how I say your name. I want to say Tasto, but Tasto was right. Very good. Karen has been holding sacred space for women to journey towards their whole self for almost 20 years, beginning as a yoga and meditation teacher, and currently as a certified life coach and women's circle facilitator. She is dedicated to supporting women in their quest to feel more alive, connected, and whole. Karen is also the co-author of The Ultimate Guide to Self-Healing Techniques and a writing contributor to the On Purpose Woman magazine. Thank you so much, Karen. So please help me welcome Karen Tasto for her presentation, The Art of Ritual for Focus and Purpose.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine, for that. So delighted to be here. So we are, for this work, we're going to be experiential here. So we are going to dive right into doing a group ritual here. So, but in order to prepare for that, you'll need pen and paper, a piece of paper that is, you can pull out of your notebook or journal. And so just by itself. And if you have a candle within reach, no big deal if you don't. I have one for you, for our whole group. But if you have a candle that you want to grab, don't light it yet. I will tell you. So we're going to do ritual, and then I'm going to talk for a bit, and then we'll finish with you coming up, creating your own ritual that you can take with you, just so you know where we're headed. So I'd like you to consider whether a project or task or area of your life, so that we talked about earlier in your breakout rooms, that where you're running on autopilot, or a project or task that you have coming up that you're holding some angst about. You're feeling resistance or overwhelm or fear. You're worried or apprehensive about it. So it might be a project for your work, for your business. It might be an email to write or a conversation you need to have with someone. It might be just tackling your to-do list or doing a chore that you've been putting off. So something like that. And if you could put that in your chat, what is that one thing that is causing you angst or that you're just running on autopilot about? I would love to hear from you what that is. Nutrition. Okay, great. Website creation. Oh, yes. So with you on that. Angst about a membership program launch. That's huge. Lots of great things. Vibrant entrepreneur circle. Awesome, Catherine. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. So just set that aside, but I do want to share my example. What was that I did in preparation for this, and that I did this ritual for, was sitting down to prepare for this talk. I signed up for this talk this summer, so some time ago, and I have had a really hard month with family issues, so a family crisis. And so I knew I had to prepare this at the beginning of the week and to start on it, and I was just not feeling it. And I was feeling a lot of angst and apprehensive and doubt that I could even fit it in. And so I came up with this ritual to help me shift. And so I'll share later more about how it helped me. But for now, I just want to help you dive into this. So I invite you to, right now, if you have your candle, light your candle. If you don't, I'm lighting it for you. And as you do, you are creating sacred space for yourself, for us gathered here today, or if you're watching the recording. And you might say to yourself, I am now in sacred space. So I invite you now to close your eyes and place a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly, if you're comfortable with that. This is a way to connect with ourselves. And now take 3 deep breaths, and with your exhales, making some sound, you're muted, some sound or sigh, whatever it is you need in this moment. So a deep breath in and exhaling. Another breath in from the depth of your belly, filling and expanding, and an exhale, letting go. And one more deep and slow breath. Any sound. So you can let your hands come down, and now take your pen and your paper. And for the next 30 seconds, when I prompt you, just let yourself, in relation with this project or this area of your life in your mind, this task you have coming up that you are feeling not so great about, you're feeling some resistance to, just write out any of those thoughts or beliefs that are limiting you, that are just not serving you, that just don't feel. So just pour it out on your paper for your 30 seconds. So mine is like, I don't have enough time. I'm too busy with other things. In the example I gave, it won't be good enough. I'll look like a fool if I'm not prepared. I'm just no good at this. I'm not good enough. Just put it all out. Keep pen to paper, no editing. And then lift your pen, put it down. And take the paper, and for a moment, just honor and give thanks, right? Give thanks for these beliefs or thoughts that had once served you, and they're just not, you recognize that they're not anymore. And I invite you to either crumple it up or rip it into pieces. So whatever you feel called to do, listen to your guidance. I'm gonna rip mine up without making, yeah, with this intention to release and transform them into something that better serves you. Hold it in your hands, and then shake your body and make a sound. I know this might feel weird, especially if you're not used to this, so go with it. Ugh. And if you have a wastebasket or just throw it on the floor, toss it out. Shoo! Come back into your body. You might place your hands back on heart and belly. Notice how that feels, how you feel in your mental state, in your body, in your breathing. Just notice. Just that little bit of time, attention, intention. So energy follows energy, right? So what is the new frame of mind, the energy or new belief, thought that you could try on as when it comes time to approach this task or project, this area of your life? What is it? And I suggest you start it with as an I am statement. Let it come from within, from your body. from what it is you're becoming. And then once you have it, I invite you to put it in the chat. I'd love to see it, what your intention is as you approach this new task. So mine, as an example, what came to me was, I am fully capable and good enough is good enough. Wonderful. I take action easily and effectively to launch the Vibrant Entrepreneurs Circle. Lovely. I'm excited to attract new clients from this webpage. I love it. I am good at commitment and consistency. I can do this. I can do. I love it. Wow. Yeah. Beautiful work. So give thanks for this process for yourself, or yes, and I thank you. So what is ritual now that you have just experienced it? Well, it's a human thing that we all share, right? Since we've been gathering around fire, since the dawning of humanity, we have daily rituals that all of us partake in, from brushing our teeth, getting ready in the morning, getting in our shower, to throughout the day. Maybe it's how you take your morning coffee, to how you prepare for bed. Those are daily rituals, and we may be doing them on autopilot. That's the difference. There's also rituals for celebrations, birthdays, holidays, marking turning points, wins. We have lots of ritual with sports, and anniversaries. What makes the difference is ritual is turning the intangible into the tangible. It's these little actions or big actions that we take to turn the intangible into the tangible. So, what does that mean? It means embodiment. We embody what we can't quite put our finger on. It's like bringing something, some aspect of ourself or something of our lives into being, right? It's like trying on a new hat, right, in a store. And you try it on, and it's just to feel for a moment, oh, what would it be like to show up out in the world with this, to live, to go through my life with this on. So it's just a moment. It also can shift energy. It can help us through transitions, through the ups and downs of life. And also, it helps us even create sacred space, like we did earlier with the lighting of the candle. It can also close space. It's again about those transitions. They can mark, therefore, marking important moments with more meaning and richness. They purpose. So that's a wonderful thing for ritual. The best rituals, and we'll talk more about it later, is the ones we create ourselves, that use our own imagination and creativity, that come from our center, our higher self. So I've talked about what ritual is, and so what happens when we don't have ritual in our lives, right? I know some of us here watching may already be infusing our life with ritual, and others of us are newer to ritual, or we just haven't given it much thought. So I thought I would share this, that without incorporating ritual into our lives, going on autopilot, it can be difficult to transition, say, especially in our virtual world, right? Where home, office, and family, home life really can get intertwined. Ritual can provide us with a marking point. Okay, it's a pause. Now I know I'm putting family, home aside, and I'm going into my business side. We're also without ritual prone to approach tasks with scatteredness or distraction. We may be going back and forth, trying to multitask, overwhelm, that's what I was feeling, when I was going in to prepare this talk. I had so many ideas. How am I going to get them all into a talk? We can be prone to just be in our heads, in our minds, and not in our body like ritual does. We're more prone to experience burnout, lack of motivation, feeling stuck. And so, one example that I'll share is like, say you have an argument with your partner, and he leaves, or she goes out the door, and you come back and you go right into your task, which say might be, what comes to mind is like writing a newsletter for your subscribers. So you're taking that dark, heavy energy right into it, and if follow energy follows energy, that idea, you're putting that energy into what you're writing, and ultimately your readers are picking up on that. Make sense? Great. So what if you instead take a few moments, just like we did earlier, and bring some kind of ritual, even if it's just lighting a candle or setting an intention, right? So how do I want to show up to this? Or release, the releasing ritual we did. What do I need to put aside for now? It's not to dismiss it or say that didn't happen, but to put it aside so that you can be more effective and more focused on what you need to do. And I have to tell you, when I did this ritual, I was in a real state of angst. And then once I did it, it really helped shift me. And I ended up just approaching it. I just whipped it out. I whipped out the outline, the ideas were flowing. It was so much easier than if I had stayed in that not enough thinking or incapability or that overwhelm. And it was that going through that process that helped me get present, get in my body, get grounded. So some more of I kind of have alluded to the benefits of ritual, but some more are, more presence. I just, want to put them out more clearly. There's presence, when we're bringing in our senses, we're getting in our bodies, and meaning. It's bringing more meaning into our lives, and who couldn't use more of that in this day and age? Ritual also provides us the capacity to shift our internal space as well as our external, what's around us. And ritual adds more purpose, meaning, more focus into our business, into our lives, and less of the autopilot. Mm-hmm. What are the types of ritual? I'd like to point those out. We did a releasing ritual with paper and pen, crumpling it up or ripping it up. It's like, you can just go way, as just one example, you can go way out with your imagination on that. There's cleansing ritual. I love my baths, and I have a whole ritual that I go. So instead of just hopping into my bath, like I can tend to do if I'm not, not infusing these rituals, and instead go in with more purpose and just enjoyment and presence, I get much more out of it. There's also rituals to honor something, to mark something as important. And even, what I'm stepping into more and more in my work with my women is marking those with ritual. We go from for some of you, this may be a new concept, but from maiden to mother. And that doesn't mean having kids necessarily, and from mother to crone. We as a society totally skip those those initiation rituals and ceremonies. And there's also the intention setting rituals. I threw that in there at the end earlier, and creating sacred space rituals and closing space. You can use those for whatever area of your life. It might be even like a meal time for your dinner. How can you bring more instead of just plopping down and shoving food in your mouth? I do that. Um, can we really set up? What can you do to set up dinner time with your family or your spouse with more meaning? There's also transitional rituals to mark the turning of the seasons. It was mentioned putting the warm comforter on our bed, switching out the beds at the changing of the season and from summer to autumn. And I know, we all have those, pulling out the sweaters, and I just love all those. The warmer blankets, and so there was all of those too. So what and if you have other, please put in the chat. Like, I just threw out a few, like, types of rituals that are coming to you now. I would love to hear that, because we can all be inspired. So I'd like to share what goes into a ritual. Like, what do we need? What are the elements? And there's a few. The first element is our full attention, our presence, right? So something to use our senses. So it might be touch, sound, like ringing of a bell, a candle, we see it, we smell it, we feel its warmth, whatever it is. And then an intention, right? We want an intention. Why are you creating this ritual? What do you want to create from it? Why do you desire it? Or what do you desire from it? The third element is doing something. It's not up here, it's doing. So you need some items, and they're everyday, ordinary things. I use a lot of items from nature in my rituals. So anything you can find. And it's doing something tangible, like lighting the candle, ripping paper, throwing a stone. I have a lot of rituals that I do on my walks in the forest or on my hikes. I have one where I up at Sugarloaf, for those that are in Maryland, every trail marker, I started like pausing and setting or coming up with an affirmation and repeating that till I get to the next marker. So just to spark some of your imagination, I say that. It could be shaking your body or clapping your hands, putting on music. Flowers are a great element to bring in. And the last thing is let your imagination run wild. Keep it simple, easy, and use your creativity and imagination. Yes, love those. The fires in our backyard, yes. Burning paper with words. I love that as well. Thank you. So we have just scratched the surface here with all there is to learn about ritual. There's just so much more, and I would love to talk with you more. So if you would like to, if this speaks to you and you would like to, learn how I use rituals, I invite you to hop on a discovery call, and I'll put the link in the chat, a complimentary discovery call with me, where we can get really clear on where you are, where you need help, and where you want to be, and how I might be able to help you get there. In my work with clients, I often infuse, I bring ritual into our container, and of course into my sacred circles that I facilitate. Or I might give my clients or circle participants rituals to do at home to deepen what we've worked on, to really help them embody it, and ultimately to sustain the learning and growth. All right. So, oh, and also, I almost forgot. If you're local to Maryland, I'm at the end of October, October 30th, I'm holding a Samhain fire ceremony and mini retreat on October 30th. I'll put it in the chat, 4 to 8 p.m. And you can email me or just message me if you're interested, and I'll send you the details. I don't have a link yet. And yeah, and that'll be totally full of ritual and ceremony. All right. So to close, I have one more thing for you. So I'd like you to come back to that area, that project or task from the beginning that you put in the chat. And close your eyes. I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable. Take a breath, a moment. Breathe deeply. Having that thing that's holding you back or causing you angst, resistance, and where you'd like to be within relationship to this. What is the ritual you see yourself doing that you feel will help you shift things, approach it different from your higher self? Let's go into your inner vision. What elements will you pull in? See yourself already doing it. And the first things that come to you are just right. And you might jot those down. And so that's just something you can take with you. And I hope that helps. I hope this all has helped you and inspire you to infuse your life with ritual. And again, I would be happy to help you, to guide you into infusing your business and life with more and more meaning and focus through ritual. So just the last thing, I'd like you to, if you would, put in the chat what your takeaway is. What are you leaving with? And then we'll have time for questions, I think. Catherine, am I right? Okay.
Thank you, Karen. This was absolutely wonderful. If y'all can stay for a few minutes, please do. But before we stop the recording, unmute yourself and clap and whoop and holler for Karen, because that was wonderful.
Yay!
So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you to those of you who are here live or watching the replay. If you would like to join us for any one of our 11 free Zoom gatherings a month or an in-person gathering in Richmond, Virginia, or Charlottesville, please go to opwgc.com, reach out to Jenny Robertson, and she will let you know how to find out more about what to do. Thanks again, Karen, and we'll be back with more great information, speakers, and amazing women.